little children, I'll take thee away into a land of enchantment. Come, little children, the time's come to play here in my garden of shadows.
Hello, I'm Runia, aka Media Adaptation, and welcome back to Moderation's 31 Days of Halloween. We're doing a video each day based on your suggestions. Ever remember something from so long ago, you're like, oh yeah, that was real? At least, I think it was. Video games made by companies have always been marked as low quality and cheap production. The only real case you can make is McDonald's kids, but then again, you still had to pay for it. So, one day in 2008, we heard that Doritos, of all people, were going to make a game for Halloween. And of course, you roll your eyes and think, oh great, what kind of half-assed production is it? And then, imagine my shock when we found out that it wasn't. There was no product to push or no ulterior motive. And on top of that, it was free. This is the story of Hotel 626. Again made for the holidays, and only available between the hours of 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. for atmospheric reasons. And yeah, that's where the title 626 comes from. And to call this thing cheap would have been a great disservice, as this thing won 8 awards. It's an FMV horror survival game, where you wake up in the titular hotel and go through 10 levels, each one starting off with a vague hint of what you're supposed to be doing. The first boss is a maid that was locked inside of a room, and is an homage to Fatal Frame. And the quality of this catches you off guard. Indie games of this time, let alone free ones, were always notorious for clip art jump scares. But this is downright terrifying. No background music, just the breathing of your character and whatever is in the room with you. The next boss is a demon baby, where you have to sing a lullaby in your headset, without going too high or too low. And if you succeed, then you have to tiptoe to the door and not wake him up. And then you're immediately knocked out and dragged into a room with a mental patient, where you have to listen to his insane ramblings, which correspond with markings on the wall, to get the passcode out. Followed by you being chased through a dark room with pictures of different players, and you need to find the one that was taken from your webcam to get out. Again, given the time period, these things weren't as widely used as they are nowadays, having them built into almost every computer. So, they also had an alternative way if you didn't have one, and had to look for the picture of the hallway, which you'll find yourself in, and then you get a call from your phone, and you have to follow the instructions to get out. Which will lead you to a parking lot, and you jump into your car, finally taking your first breath from this non-stop chase, and then you see someone in your rearview mirror. Again, this was very short, around 20 to 30 minutes depending on how good you were, and the baby can go straight back to hell for all I care. Sadly, this website is no longer available as of 2011. And I don't know of any backup projects, cause I'd love to give this one another playthrough. In 2009, they did a weird fourth wall break on their YouTube channel of making a research group studying the effects of this game that had on players. And it's told through the point of view of someone documenting this experience. And as you see more and more of these specimens, it becomes clear that something isn't right. And then you see the maid in the first one, and then you're forced to stop recording, which segues into the game's sequel made in 2010, Asylum 626. As you now wake up as one of the patients, and watch helplessly as surgery is performed on your brain, and you flash back to a childhood event, where your brother kills your parents, and you have to hide in the closet and dodge his chainsaw. They then wheel you into a dark room with other patients, and use a flashlight just like before. Again, you blink out, and then you find yourself in a room of monitors, and given a choice between 2 subjects, and the other one is pulled off and bludgeoned with a pipe, while you hear his screams. And then you need to have the UR code from one of their specially marked packages to continue, which you have to hold up to the webcam. And then you're told to administer electroshock treatment to a restrained subject, which then turns out to be you, as in the character, which means that you were the other brother this whole time. And the next test results is you, the player, which is again taken from your webcam. From a technical aspect, this game was very streamlined, with hidden load screens so the game flowed much faster. which also has a major drawback, meaning that this thing only lasted around 9 minutes. And with very little to almost no gameplay, it felt very cheap compared to the first one. Again, here you had to buy an actual product to finish this game. And while Asylum was a great disappointment, Hotel is still a great game, which I'd put on the same level as something like PT. But again, much like that one, you can no longer play it. But it still fills this weird part of my childhood. And again, brought to you by a chip company of all things. But that about does it for this video. If you have any topics for future projects, then feel free to post them down in the comments below. And while you're down there, why not like, and make sure you still subscribe to the channel. Still slowly recovering from the deletion. But anyway, I'll see you guys later. Anyway, I'm Runya, invite you to join us again for the next night.
Weep not, poor children, for love.